Aware is a very powerful engine that it could serve as a tool where a number of different unstructured pieces of content could come into one centralized location. And Aware could be the tool that can make sense of that and allow that data to not only not just go to waste, but also be acted upon. At Aware, we really believe that every organization will operate to their highest potential if they have some sort of centralized nervous system in place. We believe that organizations act just like human beings and need to know when their elbow hurts or when their toe hurts, but there's no systems or there's limited systems in place today that are making these connections so that organizations can know when their elbow is hurting or when their toes hurting. And so, really, what we're trying to build out Aware is a platform that can take unstructured data from a number of different data sources and give you the insights as an organization to know when your elbow's hurting or know when your toes hurting or know what to do based on the data that's coming back. And really, the data set that we're looking at today is data that's generated by any kind of employee conversation. And so some of that employee conversation is happening in tools like Microsoft Teams or Slack, Yammer or Workplace from Meta. But we also know that a lot of that conversation is also happening in social channels like Reddit. And so that's really why we took on this project, was because we wanted to basically bridge the gap between internal communications and also external communications. And with so many large organizations having a presence on Reddit and employees, speaking their mind, bringing up problems, bringing up solutions, and bringing up ideas, we thought it really fit into the platform, and it could really showcase that Aware could be the end-to-end solution to get visibility and insights across the and the entire employee conversation. So the data in Reddit is very similar to that in Slack or Microsoft Teams, and it really fits well into the normalization that we have built out today for these systems. So we thought that we could basically use the Reddit APIs, pull that data in for specific customer and prospect channels or subreddits, and then run it through our models and see how the models performed. And we saw that our natural language processing models that we use for conversations in Slack and Teams and other platforms actually held up really well with the Reddit dataset. And we were able to help organizations, our customers, and also our prospects glean some valuable insights on, hey, over the last 30 days, what are the top trending themes that are being discussed in this subreddit? What are some of those underlying themes that we want to double click into to understand a little bit more about? What is the sentiment and the health of the conversations over time? And were there specific things that happened at the organizations that led to an increase or a decrease in sentiment? And if so, why was that? And what can the company do to actually respond to that? So, because the data set fit in so well with our current normalization, it was pretty easy to plug in. We did it within a matter of a couple of days, ran it through our models. Everything looked really nice. And then we were able to actually create very robust reports for not only our customers, but also interested prospects as well. Going through the data was obviously very interesting. Reddit's a very interesting place. But I think what I learned and what we learned from our analysis was a lot of these large organizations that have large number of employees that are customer facing, they struggle with a lot of the same problems across the board. Not regardless of the company that you work at. Pay is a top concern, staffing and scheduling is a top concern, management can be a top concern. That was kind of a given, and I thought it was interesting. But the other interesting nugget there was, for the most part, there are a lot of employees or what appear to be employees on Reddit that want their companies to be successful and want their workplace to be successful, which is really neat. They had a large pride in kind of where they work, which was fantastic. And then the other thing that was interesting was there was a lot of head scratchers that came out of it. So, like, for example, policies, internal company policies were big things that were talked about in a lot of these subreddits. And there's some really tricky situations. For instance, how do I handle a customer who's coming into my store and wants to actually fight me? or how do I handle a customer coming into my store and has a shirt that has hate speech on it? What's the company policy around that? And there becomes a lot of blurred lines. And I think if organizations are able to get insights and get those kind of questions bubbled up, they can help make that employee experience for those employees that are working with customers better and better each day. If Aware believes that an organization needs to have a centralized nervous system to perform to their highest potential, we need to be in as many data sources as possible. So we're actively looking into getting into a number of different external data sources, even outside of Reddit, including Facebook, including Instagram, and Twitter and the like, just to basically give that comprehensive picture. Even looking at organizations like Glassdoor or Blind or Fishbowl, those are all on the table for data sources that we would be interested in pulling data in and then helping organizations understand how their employees are thinking, feeling, how they're operating, what things that are going well, things that aren't going well, so that they can make their organization the best that they can be, and they can make the employee experience the best they can be as well. There's also a couple other internal data sources that we're looking into that are interesting as well, including survey data. So there's a lot of long form survey data out there that oftentimes, if it does get read, it takes a lot of time. And if it does have insights pulled from it, those insights typically are somewhat biased based off of the individual doing the actual reading and analysis. And so Aware is even looking into pulling insights from long form survey data. You can imagine there's also a number of insights to be pulled and knowledge to be gained from support tickets and trends that are coming out of support tickets. And so all of these disparate data sets that have some sort of employee unstructured generated text within an organization are definitely right up the alley for what Aware is looking to do to help organizations now and into the future as well. And it just kind of showcases the extensibility of the Aware platform and really where we're heading. I was talking a little bit about getting into survey data analysis, like long form survey data, looking at survey like support tickets, looking at learning questions and answers coming back from learning management systems, Q&A that's happening within meetings even, and in meeting chat. All of these different pieces of content are pieces of content that Aware wants to ingest to help you understand the full employee picture. And this was really our first step into a new world. So we were able to prove out that we were able to do it, and it opens up a large amount of opportunity for us. It also showed just the robustness of our natural language processing model, where these models can hold up. They are trained on very specific collaboration data. Think messages in Slack, messages in Teams, or messages in Workplace from Meta. But the models themselves hold up very well with unstructured text in general, and can provide a lot of value in that as well. So we were able to see, not only showcase the extensibility of Aware, but we were also able to showcase that the models could perform really well with any given new data set, which makes Aware very valuable